recently. मैं एक दफ़ा IBA के बच्चे आए थे इंटरव्यू करने के लिए मुझे, and I kept on talking about the management quality, the depth of the management team in Bangalore. And halfway through he says कि मुझे आपसे कोई सवाल पूछना है, तुम कैसे क्या कर रहे हो, सवाल तो पूछ रहे। ये सर हम जिसको इंटरव्यू करने के लिए जाते हैं तो वो बोलता है कि मैं नहीं होऊंगा तो कंपनी नहीं होगी, आप सारा वो टीम की बातें कर रहे हैं तो क्या चक्कर है। ऐसे हैव यू कंसिडर द पॉसिबिलिटी कि शायद वो भी ठीक बात कर रहे हैं और शायद मैं भी ठीक कर रहा हूँ। I genuinely believe there isn't an industry company in Pakistan which comes anywhere close to the kind of depth and management quality that Wipro has. And I'm telling you, an honest confession, my conversation with my wife in the early stages of my career, you know, when my brother used to come in, I used to say, I just can't understand why I get rated so high. I have enormous respect for those colleagues. A lot of people have asked me that you run such a big empire. I'm out of the office at 6 o'clock, I guess. I come home, change, go straight to the gym. I virtually never turn up in the office on Saturday. Okay, there's never any paper on my desk. My inbox never has more than 2 emails in it, and it's very simple. The people who are my direct report in their functions are better than I am, and therefore I don't need to be involved in helping them do their jobs. My only job is of coordination. It is helping pull things together, it is facilitating decision-making structures, and above all, I'm the principal cheerleader. My job is to, and that's what I did with the organization, literally, that's my only contribution. I just kept on repeating to the organization how much potential it has. And in Pakistan, you have to understand that there are 2 different factors. Because this is very close to my heart, so I'll take a little bit more time on it. There are 2 different factors which come to play in here. One, because Pakistan, the whole, every time you go, you know, I read Wall Street Journal regularly. In Wall Street Journal, there are essentially all economic and business stories. And once in a while, there's a political story, there's an election in Ukraine, so they'll cover that or whatever. The only country in the world whose stories are about violence is Pakistan. Okay, for heaven's sake, and fine, that might also be newsworthy. But hello, the biggest fertilizer plant in the world must also be newsworthy, no? Worth mentioning once in a while. So one is this constant negative feedback that you get. Your self-esteem continues to sap because you think you're the biggest moron on the face of this earth. Second is a social structure, a obedience for authority, a respect for hierarchy, which may have some good aspects to it. It stops you from self-belief, with confidence at home. You do what your father tells you, you study what your parents told you, you marry the woman your parents wanted you to do, to marry, and so on and so forth, right? And you just don't develop that self-confidence. It's like that famous experiment of the frog, Laddu. What do you think will happen if you place a laddu in a box? So you put a frog in a box, what will the frog do? What comes naturally to the frog? The frog will jump. It's going to jump out of the box and it's going to run away, right? Now place a glass lid on top of that box. This is an actual experiment, by the way. You place a glass lid on top of the box. What will the frog do now? Yes, he's going to jump because he can't see the glass ceiling. Once something went wrong, 2, 3, maybe this is the data the 4th time he'll jump again, and then he'll give up. And then you remove the glass ceiling. Now there is nothing which stops the frog from jumping. But the frog will not jump because the frog has learned that if you jump, you hurt yourself. And that is what we are taught, not deliberately, but that's what we are taught from day one. Not to think, not to have self-confidence, not to have self-belief.
people that you take, they've been inculcated with the same mindset. What are some of the substantial policies, practices that you have that changes that mindset in Pakistan, or the people that you take, is that a criteria कि पहले से ही ethics होने चाहिए, या you change that mindset when they come to your organization?
It's both. My definition will draw people in who have that mindset. And then once you come into a culture, जो भी dominant culture होता है, it's amazing how quickly the human adapts to that. The best example of that is कि यहाँ पे वो जो साइड से निकल रहा होगा और धक्के मार के खूनी यहाँ से लाइन में आगे जा रहा होगा, वो लैंड करेगा रियाद में और तीर कितना सीधा लाइन में खड़ा होगा. So dominant culture makes you adapt the way you think and the way you behave very, very fast. And that's a culture. Then you have all this history and folklore. You hear these stories about 1991 में the biggest chemical plant relocation, the first time ever done in the history anywhere in the world. For 8 straight years, there is the pinnacle conference of chemical engineers in the American Institute of Chemical Engineers conference, which takes place there. For 8 straight years, we used to be presented to come and present a paper on that relocation. That's how big a deal it is. So you hear stories like that. The first successful management that buyout in Pakistan's history, the biggest urea plant ever said. The Alcor's Tarang story in becoming market leaders in UHT and taking on the biggest food company in the world, beating them in 3 years, and all of that. It's like a very good example of what I tell you is look at a child who likes football and wants to play football, and in the same mohalla, in the same city, in the same Pakistan, a child who is trying to play cricket. The child who's playing football, his dream is going to be, I'll play for my college, I'll play for Karachi, and perhaps I'll play for Pakistan, and that's it. His dreams will not go beyond that, and voila, in the end, that's all we'll get. You have Pakistan at 178th rating in football, they will be 4th in the SAF games. And then there will be this kid who is masjid ke pesh imam ka beta in a dream hota in Lahore, ya wo Bure wala ka, ya wo Peshawar ke bahar Bannun ke grow kar raha hai, and he's a cricketer. And what's his aim? His aim is maine World Cup lift karna, because that's what he saw Imran Khan doing. That's what he knows is possible. Look at the power of it. There is no inherent reason why you should be so much better in cricket than in football. The biggest single reason, trust me, is that in cricket you got that role model, you have that self-belief, and that's what you aim for and nothing short of that. And that's really all you have to do. The talent is right here, it's in this room, you don't have to go anywhere else.
You mentioned that when somebody leaves Anglo, you ask him or her that what's the best thing about Anglo, to which they answer that Anglo sticks to the ethics. And what's the worst thing about it? And secondly, what is the single factor to which you would attribute Anglo's success?
Okay. I'll tell you what they say, and I'll tell you what I think is the worst. What they say generally relates to the correct cause. And by the way, there's a lot of research on this. The single most common reason why people leave an organization is around the world is the direct cost. That's more important than anything else in the organization. And that's what most often the executive will become. It will be complaints about it. But I think our biggest weakness is I think we have not been enough entrepreneurial enough. We were trained to be managers until 1991, and therefore, and most of us who are now in leadership positions are still a product of that regime. And therefore, we were managerial in our thinking rather than business leaders in our thinking. And I think with age you'll see that. So that, if you ask me, is the biggest weakness that we have.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up the question and answer session now. I would like to call upon Mr. Dr. Asad Umer to come on stage and give the thank you speech.
is a story of Pakistani people. You can identify yourself that if you were given an opportunity, if you had self-confidence, if you had a belief in yourself, if you had a person who was a dreamer, you can become anything you want. And Anglo has proven this to us. It is a Pakistani origin. They are dreamers. They have a fantastic culture of caring and developing people. Their values, most important, very close to their heart. And they are not short of ambition. They are taking risks, a calculated risk, and they are proving to the world that what Pakistani can do if they were given an opportunity. And I'd like to thank again Asad Umer for coming here. We are very happy that you're here, and we look forward to seeing you again. And I'd like to thank students, the faculty. IBA is now transforming, you know that. We are moving from a teacher-centered learning system to student-centered learning system. We are moving from the absolute scale grading system to relative grading system. We are moving from the lecture-based system to case-based system. We think that unless until we treat students as partners of learning and education, we will never be able to produce business leaders. Now, the thinking about the MBA program is to produce business leaders who have ethical values and more competent. This is my vision for the MBA program. And these words can be so much.
I now invite request Dr. Asad to please present a token of appreciation for having come to IBA and giving the aspiring youth of today a direction and vision to make leadership more valuable.
This brings us to the end of the session. With the mutual contribution of the speaker and audience members, we have enlivened the session and made most of it. The ILC wishes the students all the best for their future endeavors.
And at this point, we'd like to appreciate the efforts of all those who made this session a success. Center for Executive Education and the IBA Leadership Club, under the guidance of Patron Mr. Nasir Khan. The team was led by Manager Usman Abbasi, and it consisted of Shahbaz Nader, Sharik Noor, Haris Ali, and Johar as well.
Wait everyone, the guest is now going to be escorted to CEE for refreshments.